This is what the all-new, all-electric Kia PV5 Cargo looks like on Australian roads. It's boxy, yet strangely beautiful. Imagine it in Tron Legacy. And as you can see, it's got the style. But what about the substance? Although I'm concentrating on the tech, Image Matrix Auto Tech got behind the wheel to see what Kia's engineers have cooked up for the company's first dedicated BEV van. And it is electric right from the front, and I think tradies and other business people around the city in particular will take advantage of its over 400 kilometre stated range. The front-mounted electric motor produces 120 kilowatts, and being at the front means you can have a nice, flat, low back. With DC fast charging, the battery can be charged from 10% to 80% in about 30 minutes. You'll need about 6.5 hours if using an 11 kilowatt AC charger, which would cover overnight charging. And with vehicle to load delivering up to 3.6 kilowatt, tools and other electronic equipment can be operated when no other power source is available. I recommend trying out the range calculator on Kia's website. It's specifically for the PV5 and it gives you all sorts of different scenarios. And I think it's really important to work out if you're in the city or just out of the city, doing a lot of freeway driving or just doing city driving, whether your battery circumstances will change hot or cold. If you're carrying a lot of load, there's so many variables there. This might be a van, but it's got great technology where it counts. And when I look at the screens, I think it has to be functional but not get in the way. And that's certainly the case when it comes to the 7.5-inch display for the instrument cluster. It's completely viewable through the steering wheel, and the amount of critical information you have is excellent. I love that. But the main screen is where it's all happening. And what I love about it, it's just like a phone or a tablet. You can grab your icons by pressing the button here, and then you can move them down to the bottom of the menu. This really means you have excellent control about what you see on the screen at any given time. And they sit in the bottom row here. But what's great about it though, you do not impact the climate controls. They stay there. I wish they were hard buttons, like real buttons, but they do work quite easily. And if you want to access more of that climate control, you just flick it up and away you go and press the screen again at the top. This is a brand new interface from Kia, and it looks great on this 12.9-inch screen because you're able to multitask, and they've made it easy to move apps around by just holding that button down, listening to the beep, away you go. It's over here. So I can drive off and I'll have my rear vision view. And that's really important considering you can't see a thing through the rear vision mirror. That's all you can see behind me. That's it. Other than vanity, it really is a pointless mirror, but you can select that rear camera as full screen on your display, or as I showed earlier, you can make it a smaller window. You do have excellent motorized side mirrors, and you do get Kia's excellent blind spot monitoring, which you usually get in more prestigious vehicles. A 360 camera is an absolute must in a modern van, especially in an EV where you expect all this sort of tech. Very frustrating when I don't have a 360 camera in many of the cars that I review. And of course you can select the different angles independently. The other feature I absolutely love is pet mode. We've seen this grow from Tesla to other brands, and it's great to see it for the PV5. Lots of tradies have dogs on utes, but now you can throw your dog into the PV5 and be very, very confident that they will be safe because it will maintain a very nice temperature with air conditioning running and the doors locked. So your best buddy can travel with you whenever you're on the job. The only issue for me is it doesn't have a bench seat, so that pretty much rules out my Great Dane in the cabin anyway. Good news for Android and iOS users because Apple CarPlay and Android Auto have wireless integration. You cannot sell a car these days, in my opinion, without wireless Android Auto or CarPlay from Apple. It is just stupid if you don't. Very well executed by Kia, and I've got to say, if you're driving this van, it's going to be a lot easier to find what you need on the screen without having to look too far. Although the PV5 looks pretty sparse up front, there are plenty of spots for storage and places to place your phone and charge it. So just underneath the center display, you're able to place your phone on a mat that will charge your phone. You've also got some pretty serious charging wattage via USB-C cable. 100 watts right here. And you've got your old-fashioned cigarette lighter, 12 volts, 180 watts. Push it in, and away you go. And they've really thought about drivers because there's another USB-C port on the dash to the right of the steering wheel. And speaking of the steering wheel, you've got a typical layout that you'll find in Kia, including paddles on the back, giving you quick control over your regen. All the safety features you're familiar with in other Kia vehicles, you'll find them also here in the PV5. And all those clever little things you can do with the Kia Connect app, you can also do in the PV5. I really love that remote warm-up. So good in the winter. It might not be the biggest EV van in the market, but it's certainly the coolest looking. I mean, that Tron comparison is right on the money. And speaking of money, the PV5 Cargo is well priced from 55,990 Australian dollars plus on-road costs, but it's still good value. Although I'm concentrating on the tech, I do have to say from a driving point of view, this drives like a car. It's really quick off the lights, and you'd expect that with an EV, so it's very impressive. They've dialed it in nicely, and most vans struggle in that regard. They're often slow off the mark when they've got to carry a lot of weight. Not the case in this car, and you might get 400 k's plus, but you've also getting performance, and that's the key with an EV. So great start from Kia, and I think there are more of these to come. This bloke knows what he's talking about because the Kia PV5 van is coming later this year. So it's a passenger version of the cargo van with 5 to 7 seats and more features to make it passenger friendly. Have your say below, and I'll see you in the next review here on Image Matrix Tech and Image Matrix Auto Tech.